So, the last video on this channel went over the rumors in regards to the Vancouver Canucks and what the apparent trade price is going to be for Pavel Zacha. But we have some actual Vancouver Canucks news and some updated Canucks talk as to what could really be going on with this team outside of the world of trades. So, let's go over and review just what exactly the Vancouver Canucks have on tap coming into the next few days here. Tomorrow, they'll be in St. Louis to play off against the Blues. On Saturday, November 1st, they'll be in Minnesota. And then Monday, November 3rd, the Vancouver Canucks will be in Nashville, before returning home on a homestand against Chicago, Columbus, Colorado, and Winnipeg. That will take up the next, let's just say, 2 weeks worth of time for the Vancouver Canucks, but this road trip is kicking in, and we have ourselves some news as to where the Canucks are going to go. At the start of this road trip, Patrik Allvin announced earlier this morning that Nils Åman has been assigned to the AHL's Abbotsford Canucks, and Mackenzie McEachern has been recalled from Abbotsford. And this seems to be disaster mode for Vancouver. Mackenzie McEachern is going to be given a spot now on this lineup. I mean, the last time he's played an NHL game was 2023-2024. This guy hasn't played a National Hockey League game in over a year. And to be fair, McEachern is a guy that has carved out a reasonably okay career for himself. 31 years old, 6'2", 194, left-handed winger, a guy drafted by St. Louis all the way back in 2012, and who spent all of his time developing in the NCAA and inevitably becoming an AHL guy, Chicago Wolves, San Antonio Rampage, Springfield Thunderbirds. He was in St. Louis for 51 games in 2019-20. Then he found himself in Carolina, played with Chicago Wolves over there, then found himself back in the St. Louis organization, 8 games in 2023-2024. But with the Abbotsford Canucks, Mackenzie McEachern had only 2 goals in 7 games played, which is not great, but the Abbotsford Canucks in general have not been doing well at all in Mackenzie McEachern's tenure with the team. They've had a whole bunch of guys get called up to the main Vancouver Canucks squad. So, yeah, it's kind of obvious to see why this Abbey team has been struggling. 3-0 loss to Laval, 5-2 to Laval, 5-2 to the Ontario Reign, 5-2 to the Reign, 3-0 loss to the Wranglers. It's either they win or they lose 3-0 or 5-2. It's none in between. So, the the Abbey Canucks have had a very difficult time dealing with the injuries as well. The trickle-down effect from what's happening with the Vancouver Canucks team is affecting the AHL team, and now McEachern is going to be next in line to play for the Vancouver Canucks on the span of this road trip. Speaking about that, this is what Patrick Johnson said on Blue Sky. Canucks GM Patrik Allvin tells me neither Conor Garland nor Quinn Hughes are traveling with the team. The Canucks are flying to St. Louis today. Allvin is still hopeful that Hughes can join the team either in Minnesota or in Nashville. So, it doesn't look like this 5 p.m. game against St. Louis is going to feature any of Conor Garland or Quinn Hughes from the looks of it. Hope is that Quinn Hughes can join the team at a later date, maybe during one of these 2 games in November. But for Conor Garland, it doesn't seem like there was any announcement on him. So, yeah, that's not great, isn't it? Conor Garland going to be out for an extended amount of time at this point. That is definitely not a development the Canucks wanted to see. Now, there were some other notes here from the Conor Garland front, but ultimately, I mean, Rick Dhaliwal says that he's hearing Garland's not serious, but also hearing he's not going to be on the road trip. We'll have more on the show here. So, road trip, next 4 games, doesn't look like Conor Garland's going to be a part of that. That's a lot of time for him to miss, especially with the Canucks' dire situation right now. You also think about how Conor Garland has been an Ironman the past little while, always playing the games for Vancouver. This is quite new for him to not be available. But speaking about how the Canucks have fared, with all these guys going down on injury, with the team struggling and everybody starting to lose a little bit of hope as to whether or not the Canucks can actually contend for a playoff spot, there has been a bubbling sentiment from this market as to whether or not a rebuild is starting to become the most realistic idea. And this is what Rick Dhaliwal said on Ownership on Canucks Talk this morning. He's going to fight the rebuild talk as long as he can. People keep filling the rink. That's why Francesco keeps doing what he's doing. Then you had some responses like this one. The rink will continue to fill if they verbally commit to rebuilding the right way. Look at Montreal. And then you also have another response that says full-blown rebuilds are not really a guarantee by any means. Poor asset management and spending to the cap on mediocrity have been this organization's flaw for 13 years. Never in a position to capitalize on opportunity. Now, you talk about opportunity. The Canucks have a bunch of really good players, and they have had some better players in the past. The Millers, the Horvats, the Lindholms, the Dorovs, the Hugheses right now. Right now may not seem like the best time to kick in with a panic rebuild choice, but hey, if you wanted to say that was the best choice for Vancouver, maybe the best time would have been a few years ago. Who really knows? Another tweet, Rick Dhaliwal says, yeah, I'd be shocked if this owner says yes to a rebuild. The way that would go down, trade Demko, EP40, and Quinn, then just start over. People who talk about tanking for draft reasons do not get it. Every player in the NHL beat out 10,000 other guys to get here. They have heart. They hate to lose. If you don't understand that, you don't understand the NHL. Well, on the contrary, I don't think tanking necessarily means that you're telling the players to intentionally lose. It's purposefully building a team that is designed to lose. To say, hey, we're going to trade away all of our best players. We're going to ice out a roster that is just significantly inferior to every other roster, and it's not like our guys are not going to try. They're still going to try, but they're not going to be good enough to win and actually put themselves in a playoff spot. They're going to be bad enough to be drafting first overall. We'll get Gavin McKenna or whomever else, and then we're going to continue with the way we want to build our team from there. Rebuilding is not in the ownership's cards here, but now, with all the injuries and all the panic setting in, now Mackenzie McEachern is being given a spot on this roster. It's starting to become a lot more of a conversation in this city. So, yeah, this was supposed to be it, right? This was supposed to be the year to convince Quinn Hughes that he wanted to stay with this really great hockey team. But now, it doesn't really look like that's going to be the most vindicated. I think that's a bad way to put it, but you get what I mean. If you enjoyed this video, you want to let me know your thoughts in the comments about Mackenzie McEachern getting called up, then hey, feel free to do so. Those comments help out with the algorithm after all. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button is down there for you as well. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.